Welcome back to part 18 of the Sunshine Kisses and Fairy Wishes crochet along, and guess what, this is the last part of the main body of our blanket. So we finished up with part 17, which was the Jacob's Ladder section called Unity. We've put on our final section of Across the Miles. We don't need any more of these now, unless you want to make your blanket longer, and you can continue adding sections any which way you like. But if for the main blanket, we've finished with ATM now. So now we're going to put the last part on, which is Ivy's lace again. Yes, it's the one we did in part 1. It's Nessa's contribution to the blanket. So we thought we'd start and finish with Ivy's lace because everything begins and ends with Vanessa. So the difference is with putting Ivy's lace back on at the end is that we don't need the first row and the chain thing. So I'll show you in a second. I'll grab that section of my blanket to show you, to compare. So even though it's basically the same section, we've rewritten the rows here because there's one less that you need to do. All right. So keep an eye out on your notes and the various instructions we have at the beginning of the pattern, and let me just pull up to the other end and show you what bits we are doing and what bits we're not doing. So here is Ivy's lace the first time we did it, at the very bottom of our piece, and we had to make a very long chain to get started. Well, some of you did. I didn't, but most of us did. Nice big long chain. And then, so it started over there and came down this way. And then we turned and made a series of single crochet. You can tell these are the right way up because you can see the little V's of the single crochet. That's the part we don't need anymore. You don't need this chain, and you don't need this first row of single crochet running across the top of the chain. So I will start you off, and hopefully we can get this section finished really quickly. So we'll get back down to the other end and I'll get you started. So I'm back and I'm ready. I am actually going to try and finish off the last of all of my little bits and pieces of colour. This is all I've got left of these colours, and I have this little piece of scrap which is a different shade actually, but I'm going to use, I have I think 4 full balls of this I'm going to use on the border, but I've got a little scrap here that I'm going to try and get my first row done with. So the first row from the reverse, there's my blue, that's the good side. I've got some knots to square away, but here we go. It's just basic single crochet into the first stitch. I'm using the standard standing single crochet that I like to use, and then just go down and make a full row of single crochet. When you get to the end, I need you to chain 2 and turn, and I'll meet you back for our first set of cross double crochet. Alright, I won't be long, back soon. Row 2, you should have finished, if you're continuing your yarn, you should have finished with a single crochet, made chain 2 to turn, but as I said, I'm using scraps, so there was no way I was going to get another row out of what I had. Now I'm going to try and make some cross doubles with this little thing. So if you come back at any time and I've changed my colour, you'll know why. It's because I ran out halfway and had to redo it with a different piece of scrap. So row 2, the chain 2 counts as your first double crochet. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Going to have lots of ends to tie in later. Now I'm going to skip a stitch, that one there, and I'm going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. So skip 1, double crochet into the next, and then I'm going to come back to the skipped stitch and make my cross double by making another double crochet into that skipped stitch. So you should remember that from way back, but just in case it's a little bit vague after so much time, let's do another one. So it's really just double crochet crisscrossing across itself, skip 1, double crochet, then come back to the skipped stitch and make the other double crochet to cross, skip, double crochet, come back, double crochet, remembering that we are actually working over everything not in front of or behind, just going over the top. Skip one, double crochet, come back, and another double crochet in the skipped stitch. Alright, so I'll let you go ahead and finish that by yourselves all the way down. You should have one stitch left over when you get to the end, so this stitch here should be left, and you'll put a straight double crochet in there, nothing else, just a plain double crochet. So your last cross double will be here. You'll skip this one, you'll put a double crochet in that one, you'll come back and put a cross double into that one. That leaves you this stitch. You'll put a plain double crochet in that. Alright, I'll be back in a minute to do that with you. Okay, I'm done. I have my one final stitch left, and I will put a double crochet into those top loops to finish off my side. So now all we need to do is make a chain one and turn, and the return row is just single crochet, as we've done so many times before. So get yourselves to there and I'll come back in a minute. Having turned now back on the wrong side, where's my blue? There it is. So I'm back onto the wrong side again now to make the single crochet row. So your chain one to turn is there, single crochet in the first stitch and every other stitch down the row. So you should have a total of 216 still, as long as everything's going okay and you've kept your stitch counts up, you should be alright. So get this one done all the way down, including one into that very first solitary double crochet we started with on the previous row, and then you can chain 4 and turn, and I'll come back to talk you through that in a minute. I need to get a new colour because there's no way this yarn is going to go any further than this one round. Alright, single crochet all the way down, including to the end one. If you're continuing your yarn, chain 4 and turn, and I'll be back soon. Okay, so here we are. I've finished my third row here, the single crochet that came back this way. We are now back to the right side, and we're going to make some extended puff stitches and some extended double crochet. So at the end of the last row I told you to chain 4 and turn. The chain 4 represents an extended double crochet and a chain 1. So the extended double crochet, I'm going to make a standing double crochet to get myself started. So it's supposed to be an extended double, so it starts like a normal double, but yarn over and pull through only one loop before you finish your double crochet. I've got an absolute mess of knots at the end of this because I ran short of yarn on the previous row, so excuse me for that. So there's my extended double. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2 twice, okay, for your extended. Then you need a chain 1. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is an extended puff after skipping a stitch. So we have to skip a stitch and then make an extended puff in the next stitch. So an extended puff is yarn over, skip 1, pull up a loop 4 times. Once, twice, 3 times, and 4. You should have 9 loops on your hook. Let's see if I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. For the extended version of the puff, we yarn over and pull through all but the last loop, leave it on the hook. That leaves you 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to chain 1 and skip a stitch and make another extended puff. So yarn over, pull up a loop. Now my single crochet are really tight because I had no yarn left. I had to tighten up. Pull up a loop 4 times. Once, twice, 3 times, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all but the last, yarn over, pull through 2, and chain 1. And down the line, skip 1 into the next one. Wiggle it in there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all but the last, yarn over, pull through 2, and chain 1. That's 3. You should end up, for a full-size blanket according to the pattern, you will have 106 extended puff stitches. Skip 1, pull up a loop once, twice, 3 times, and 4. Pull through all but 1, pull through 2, and chain 1. Alright, I'm going to let you finish. Wait for me here. You'll have 3 stitches left. So your last extended puff will go into this 4th stitch. You will chain 1 and you will skip that stitch there, and then we will come back and I will put 1 extended double crochet into each of those last 2 stitches. Alright, so let's get to work and get all these puffs made and reconvene in a minute. I'm at the end of my row. I have 3 stitches left, 1, 2 and 3, and I've also had to do a little bit of fudging here because I just didn't have enough yarn. There just is not enough of this colour, so I have actually redone my puffs with only 7 loops. That's 3 times yarn over, pull up a loop. So sorry to Vanessa for messing with her gorgeous pattern. I just haven't got enough of this scrap, so I've had to do it that way. I'm not really keen on it because it's left me great big gaps. In fact, I might even pull it out and use a different colour. But let's just finish the row. So once you've completed this final puff and made a chain 1, we need to skip 1 stitch, and we are going to put 1 extended double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, which is the last 2 stitches of the side. Extended double crochet, drop off the first loop by itself, and then yarn over, pull through 2 twice, and 1 more into the last top loops, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 twice. And that finishes the row. Then I need to chain 1 and turn for the return trip for row 5. So get your puffs finished. Don't do what I did. I don't think it looks as pretty as it should, as it did in the beginning. But I really didn't have any options. When you're doing a scrap blanket, you just have to work with what you've got. Alright, get this row finished and we'll come back for row 5. Row 5 begins with a single crochet in the same stitch as your turning chain, and then a single crochet into the next stitch, which was the second of those last 2 extended doubles, and then all we're going to do is put 2 single crochet into each chain 1 space all the way down the line. Don't need to do anything to the puff stitch, just work in the chain spaces. 2 single crochet per chain space. Okay, when you get to the other end, you should have 1 chain space left, so just work your way down till you get to the last chain space, and I will meet you there. How about that? There's my last chain space, and look what I've got left. Talk about winning yarn chicken. So there's my last chain space. Now for some of you that would have been the 4 chains that you did. I made a standing extended double and a chain 1. Alright, so in this chain space, and it'll be a big curve for some of you, just put 1 single crochet first into that, and then you will need to put, for those who have the chain, a single crochet into the 3rd chain space, leaving the 4th one free. Alright, but if you've got a starting stitch or a standing stitch like me, you need a single crochet in that final stitch. Okay, but for some of you it will be 3 chains up, single crochet in that, and then 1 chain free just to give the gap in there for that single crochet to go into. And then if you're continuing, you need to chain 2 and turn. I, on the other hand, am done with this colour. That's all I've got left of it. It's completed. I will come back for row 6 and 7. Won't be long. Row 6. And I really am scraping the bottom of the barrel now. Let's see how we go. Row 6 is another cross double row. Now we've already done one down here. It starts with a double crochet in your very first stitch. If you've got a turning chain, then you've got to chain 2. I'm going to make a standing double crochet into my first stitch. Okay, and then from there we just start our cross doubles immediately. You skip 1, you come across and you make a double crochet. Then you come back and make a double crochet in the skipped stitch. So I don't think I need to show you that anyway, but I'll just make a couple just for fun. We still have a very big job ahead of us putting on the border. It's a very large border. So you're going to need to plan. Make sure you've got plenty of yarn, or at least have a few different colours if you want to make a multicolour one. So these are my cross doubles. Here we go, all the way down to the other end. When you get to the other end, you should have one stitch remaining. So your final cross double will use these 2 stitches, then you'll have 1 stitch left to put a plain double crochet in. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn, and we'll come back for the final single crochet run across the top. Okay, I'll meet you down there. Having finished all of my cross doubles, I have 1 stitch left, and I'm going to put a double crochet into that stitch, and that finishes row 6. Okay, now all I have to do is chain 1 and turn, and put a final row of single crochet across the back. So for row 7, turning chain there, single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet all the way down, making sure to get into that final double crochet at the other end, which was the first double crochet. Don't miss that one. All right, do your final stitch count before we work on the border, and I will finish this row, and then I'll come back and we'll have a quick little chat about what's going to happen next, so that we can finish our beautiful pieces. Back soon. Cross your fingers, I make it to the end with this scrap. Ah. I'll keep going. And that, my friends, is that. I barely just made it. Just got a little tail left there. This is back to the front of the work. I've flipped over. Now, we need to do a few things here. Now, I only made a sample piece, so there's not enough weight in my blanket to level out my edges. It really isn't. And because it's going to be a table topper, I would take the extra step of blocking gently. I'm not going to stretch this very much. All I want to do is, after I've worked away all of my tails, and there's quite a few here, I just want to even out my edges so that they look fairly straight. Nothing extreme. And then we will come back for part 19, which is the complete border, which has absolutely step-by-step stitch counts about how many stitches to pick up in every single section. So you don't need to worry about that. Now, the thing is, if you're continuing your yarn, don't cut it off. Just sit tight, finish off your last stitch, and wait for the next part so I can read on and see what we're going to be doing there. If you're finishing your yarn like I had to, well, we'll just wait till the next part to join in the designated spot. So take your time now, have a break. If you don't think your blanket is long enough, now's the time to add any additional sections you want. For the pattern, we don't need another ATM. We didn't start with ATM, so we don't finish with ATM. We started and finished with Nessa's section called Ivy's Lace. All right, so congratulations everybody, we made it to the end. Now let's clean up a little bit and admire our beautiful handiwork. Take a moment. For some of you, you've got gigantic blankets to enjoy. For some of us, we have baby blankets. Some of us have nice little decorative pieces to put into our homes. Whatever it is, it's already gorgeous. Look at this. And this was using up all my little bits and pieces of scrap. Khaki, shades of khaki and beige and odd bits of white and cream. Well done, guys.